So everyone says they want to be a real estate investor, but who does it? This guy. And today I'm sitting with Jason. What's up?
What's up, Lindsey?
We're talking about being a real estate investor. He's done it recently. Everyone talks about theory and what could be and would be, but I have the guy who did it and is doing it and had some pitfalls, right?
That's exactly right.
So we're going to discuss those today. We're going to go through common sense stuff. We're going to go through not what they tell you. We're not going to have you sign up for a $20,000 thing today. We're going to talk about how actually to do this the right way and be a successful investor. So give us, Jason, so you want to be a real estate investor. Tell me how that started. What were you thinking?
Yeah, it's a really good question. So first of all, good to see you. Thanks for having me. Happy Thursday. The idea all started when I was just a young guy and was listening to stories of my father who had talked about investing in real estate, and that if you ever have the opportunity, you should do that. Mm-hmm. In fact, when he was younger, he bought a duplex. He lived on one side and he rented out the other side. And I thought, holy cow, that is amazing. How do you do that?
Yeah.
And so, over the course of my professional career, I saved up some cash. It was something that I was always wanting to do. Didn't necessarily know how to do it. But after listening to my father talk about this strategy, I'm like, I want to do that. Absolutely. And so I just kind of took a leap of faith. I didn't know much, and I always talk about being comfortable, being uncomfortable, and that was really kind of where I was at. And I thought, you know what, comfort is the enemy of growth. I want to grow. I'm going to get in this, and through an acquaintance was able to get some properties, and here we are. So. Yep. It's been exciting. It's been this roller coaster ride, more up and down than a Cedar Point ride.
So we'll get the positives and negatives today, because I know there are. So we had some highs and some lows. So when it comes down to it, your idea was to buy a house that was at a lower number that needed some repairs, to repair this house.
That's right.
And then refinance that house and take the cash out of that house to pay yourself back for the repairs you've done, and then keep some cash that's not taxable.
That's exactly right.
So the first step was to repair the house. Give us kind of what happened in the beginning here.
Yeah, so we go to the house. It's here in Strongsville, actually. Great house, a lot of history in the house. In fact, the house was supposedly a part of the Underground Railroad. There's some tunnels in the house. Really cool, neat history. See the house, and here's, kind of part number one for me. I don't have the vision when I walk into a dumpy house to necessarily see how it can be created into something beautiful.
I get it. It's like an artist. Like they know how to do that stuff where they're going to come through and Monet it. I appreciate this very much so. But if you ask me to write that up, you look like a smiley face with the guy going,
That's right. So when people are telling me this is a great house, we can do this, this, and this, that's really hard for me to digest, because all I see is a big pile of crap, right?
Yeah.
And so the price was good. It's in a really good market. This community is fantastic, and that's kind of the draw to it. And so we started to kind of put some numbers together to see what it would cost, and if it made sense.
If it made sense to
buy this house and to invest in the repairs.
So the idea was that you bought it at a lower than market value because of the condition.
Yep.
Then we're going to repair it to be in a nicer condition, to appraise for more and rent for more than it currently was.
That's exactly right.
Okay, so then when we go into the house, so you buy the house, you get it from a good number. We'll go over the numbers, and then the idea was, how did you come up with the numbers? Was it just trying to figure out what the ARV is? Is that what it is? And explain maybe what the ARV is or how it worked.
So after value repair is the way I understand ARV, and so walking through with some contractors and getting a better idea of perhaps what this house was going to cost. We looked at that number, and then we added it on to the cost of the house and kind of ran some numbers again to just see if it all made sense. Now, candidly, the number that was given to me from the contractor turns out to be way lower.
Surprise!
Than what it
Pay attention, investors.
Yes. So this was pitfall number one.
So contractors are the folks doing the work on the house, and they're going to give you bids, and they're going to come and say, okay, this is how much it's going to cost to fix the room A or bathroom B or whatever it happens to be. But the contractors are for-profit companies as well.
That's right.
So if you don't know the contractor well, or if you don't know the contractor as well, you have to have a fudge amount, an amount. So if it does become an error, you find something as you're digging, another 15 to 20% is usually rare or what's needed. But so when you put that in there, the numbers made sense initially, but then as you went, the fudge number came a little bit upside down.
The fudge number was even way off.
Oh my gosh, okay.
And so now here we are thinking, perhaps this may be $40,000 to $60,000 in repairs. We're now in the upwards of $150,000.
That's a big
We're
difference.
approaching almost the cost of the house.
Unbelievable.
That we paid for the house, right? And that's where you don't want to be.
And nobody tells you that when you're an investor. They say, just go do it. Buy the house. Smile. And of course the contractors are telling you this because the contractors are being paid.
That's right.
And after the house is done, you, sir, own the house and are stuck with the house. So this is why you work with professionals. That's why you have to call us. That's why you have to talk to people that have done it. That's why you have to network and build your group of people that understand how to do this. And that's why we're not doing theory. We're doing facts. We're talking about what happened. In theory is what we're watching online.
Yeah.
But in fact is what's happening.
Yeah.
So
there's in practice and in theory.
Yes.
I kind of heard all the theory and then decided to make the move. And now in practice, it is not added up the same way, unfortunately, for my particular situation.
But so now we're at the point now where the house is now updated and we're getting there, and now we're coming to, you're able to do an appraisal on the house.
Yes.
Correct. So now the house is done. So you got everything that you pivoted on some contractors. You've done whatever was needed to get in there. But the whole time that you're doing this, if you borrow money, you have to make payments on this. That's pitfall number 2. Throw it out there. Here he is.
That's pitfall number 2. So I always, pardon me, I think it's DCSR.
DSCR, but close. Don't worry.
I always get this mixed up. And so
debt service coverage ratio is what it is. Yeah, but
debt
keep going.
Service cover ratio was explained to me that this is the perfect investment, that will take 90 days. We'll get this house repaired. And then on day 91, we can refinance out.
Yep. And the reason of that is that, so we go off of the value of the house that you bought it for. And after 91 days, you can go off the repaired value. So if you paid 100 for it and you put 50 in it, you could, in the first 90 days, you can only borrow what you bought for. And after 91 days, you could borrow what it's appraised for, pending the receipts and the upgrades.
That's right.
Such. But anyways, continue.
And so, basically, I take the 91-day kind of thought process. I'm looking to have this house and told that this house will be repaired, both sides. It's a duplex home. They'll be repaired in the 91-day time frame. And here we are. That house was bought in August. We'll say September. It was late August of last year. We've now been making monthly payments since August, September. And here we are in April. That's way beyond 90 days. And still really, just now coming to the end of the project.
So when you go into real estate investing, these are the things that people don't tell you because they don't plan for it. And that's why it's nice to have professionals to talk to, people that have been successful in other industries and categories. And then they come into this one and go, okay, here's a pitfall that I see now. And this is why this is so important, because you could buy $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 programs that we see online. That'll go to pitfall number 3. Wait till you hear this one. Pitfall number 3, everyone knows everything, but nobody does it. That's what it is. Everybody tells us what you want to do, but nobody puts their money up. And they want our money. Right, that's what it is.
Right.
So some of these things. So what you see online, it gets $20,000. I'll teach you how to be a real estate investor.
Yeah,
you see that a lot.
Yeah.
What happens with that?
Yeah, I mean, you invest this money, and oftentimes, I could now, as an investor, create my own program and have people come if they wanted to listen to me talk about my experience and tell them how it should go. And people will pay money because there's a lot of other people that were like me that really don't know, but they want to get involved. And there's a lot of shysters out there that dupe people, take their money, don't teach them anything, don't show them anything.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, they get into a real bad spot.
If you Google real estate investing courses, there's a million of them. And it's like, if you can't convince them, confuse them, and it's never, facts, it's theory. And theory is great until you have a pitfall, and these pitfalls aren't always coming up. So that's why this is so important to call a professional that would do something like this, and talk to, go over the loan payments, explain what the appraisal would be, go through these numbers to make sure that you're set up for success so you're not going backwards. Because even if you pay $20,000 for a program, it may not give you the results you need.
That's right.
So experience, networking, would you say that's probably the best?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think you have to find trusted resources, utilize your resources. There's a lot of really knowledgeable people in this space, but there's also even equal amount of people that really don't know what they're doing, that claim they do. And so, yeah, that would be my biggest piece of advice is really, when you do find someone, vet them out, make sure that they are who they say they are, and that you can know, like, and trust them. Those are the people we want to do business with, and really try to mitigate a situation to pop up in your particular situation where you fall into one of these pitfalls.
Yeah, absolutely. So pitfall number 4, not knowing your numbers from the beginning and not knowing your numbers at the end, because when we do an appraisal, you can borrow 75% of what the house is valued at, sometimes 80 depending on the situation. But a lot of times people don't tell you that on the DSCR loans. They tell you it's going to be fine, just do the loan, but they don't give you the facts of it, that you only get 75% of what it appraises for after 91 days.
Yeah, that was news to me. I mean, candidly, I thought I'd be getting more money than just 75%. It is what it is, but my knowledge of it was not that on the front end of it, and so now here I am again trying to figure out what we're going to do with 75% of how this thing appraises, et cetera.
Absolutely. So you've been through 2 now. So this is your second house, and,
That's right.
and now you're learning to do this. And now that it's great that we've teamed up because we're able to go over stuff and talk about the numbers. And now we have hard numbers.
Yep.
So when we go into the next one, it's like, all right, we know for sure we have a fudge number, we have a delay number, we know where we're at number, and then we know how to set ourselves up for success. Because 90% of millionaires are made in this field. It's not like you just walk in and take checks. Otherwise, everybody be doing it.
That's right. And now we, for me at least, teaming up with you, having some trusted partners that you're affiliated with that can look at the numbers, make sure the deals make sense, make sure the, repair value is where it's supposed to be, because I think that's where you can quickly go sideways. You can get a house for free, but if it's going to take you X amount of dollars when you didn't really calculate that, will still put you in a really tight spot, right?
Really bad.
Yeah. So, I think it's so important to make sure that some of these fundamental things are in place. Otherwise, you can really get yourself in a bad spot.
It's horrible.
All right. So here we are on site of the house that we were talking about earlier. This is the property in Strongsville. As you can see, there's a lot going on
This
here.
is investing. Welcome to investing. This is what happens. This is what actually happens. Everyone tells you got to do this stuff.
This gives me anxiety, personally. When I see all of this, I cringe. So I try not to come often, but I like to come often enough so people know that I'm visible, know that I'm around. And I would say that's another lesson that I've learned in this whole process, is that you don't want to take for granted things are being completed in a timely fashion. For the first probably 2 months or so, I thought, I hired some professionals, they're going to take care of everything. That wasn't necessarily the case. Then when I would come back and I'd go, well, what was done? And so I would find that, there was nothing really done. And, so now I spend a regular time and a lot of time to just kind of come in, socialize, check out what's going on, because it's important to stay on top of, don't take for granted what you think might be happening, because it may not be happening.
It may not be happening. And especially with your first one, the vision is hard to see. I see this too. When I come here and I see everything, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is going to go, this is going to go. Then you have, you've done 20 of them, and then it's like, that'll be this, and it all comes together. So as you're a real estate investor going through this, he's newer to this. Is it. This is the beginning.
I'm green.
We're showing you what's happening. We're giving you not theory. This is facts.
Yes, it's right.
So it's a nightmare. It looks like a nightmare. It's scary. It looks like, someone just came to your house with a battle axe and just blew everything up.
Yeah.
Well, that's what starts. So you have to break it down to bring it up. So in the process, though, it's important to keep on everybody. Like we said, the same with the loan is that we got to keep on everybody. When you work with us, you got to make sure. So we make sure we keep on the appraiser.
That's
we make
right.
sure we keep on the process. We make sure we keep on everything. So that's it. But you see over here, we got lots of stuff happening around us.
Yep.
So when we go in, we'll show some of the pitfalls of what he's been through and show some of the successes of how, in the end, once you get through it, there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
Okay, so here we are inside of the duplex on the smaller side. So smaller side, this is a 1-bedroom, 1-bath. You can kind of see here, there's been a lot of progress that has been made. I mean, I can tell you when I first walked in here, we actually had a tenant inside of the house. He lived here. The floor was actually, carpet was what was keeping it from not falling in. There was a divot, a missing piece of wood under for support purposes in the living room. In the kitchen here, no appliances worked. The guy was using a microwave basically and had it plugged into an extension cord because where the microwave was located, that outlet didn't work. And he was paying such minimal rent that he didn't want to create a stink with the landlord because he also knew that he wasn't going to be able to find a $500 rent anywhere else in Strongsville, Ohio, right? So he kept quiet. I mean, the house was in terrible shape. And now here you can see, we've made an enormous amount of progress here.
It's looking good.
The floors look great. We've got a great team that has just dedicated themselves to, just doing good work and putting some craftsmanship into the process here. But to see it now is what we were talking about earlier, not having that vision of, maybe seeing what it would look like.
Yes, this is it.
This is kind of what I like to see when I walk into a house. We're
not used to it. Because it's a first-time investor.
That's right.
And again, they tell you, don't worry, you're just going to knock it out until you see it all knocked down. And it's like, holy smokes.
Yeah.
The floors go in it. Yeah. So if it wasn't this, though, we buy it at full price and put some renters in. So if you want to do the flip method where you buy it and then you fix it up and then you refi it and then do it again, the burr, they call it burr.
Yeah.
But you got to fix it up. That's the problem. Right. But it's dramatic for guys like us that haven't done it. We come in, we're like, holy shit, this is falling apart. But look at it now.
Well, and I will say, too, it was important to me as an investor to not be a slumlord, right? We probably could have come in here. We probably could have done some things to patch up certain things and, maybe not put it together as nicely as this, but we factor in what community we're in and we factor in some of the values around here. We didn't want to just do half-ass work. We wanted to make sure that it was done right, it was done well, and maximize the amount of rents that we can get in this particular market. So that was important to me. It was important to my wife. We probably could have come and spent less. We didn't want to spend this much, but certainly we wanted to make sure that it was done right. And so hopefully, you can kind of see, someone's going to really be happy, I think, living here.
Absolutely. The numbers are very important, and that's why you have to call us in the beginning or work with someone that understands the numbers or can guide you in the right path of numbers, because it's very, 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 very important to know your numbers and to know that when you start taking floors out, when you start taking major construction projects, you only find more stuff you're going to have to spend. Rarely do you spend less.
Yeah.
So that's why we have to get these right, and that's why it looks beautiful now, and we'll go get someone in here.
Yeah.
So when you came in and the house was needing to be renovated, again, we're renovating, otherwise we're doing it. You had to put new HVACs, new appliances. Here's some right here next to you. Tell us kind of what happened with all that. So you had to buy HVACs. Give us kind of what you, as an investor, were responsible for fixing.
Yeah, so, we walked in, again, the house was terrible. I mean, in my opinion, I thought it should have been condemned by the condition that it was in. Again, alluding back to what I was saying earlier, we felt it to be very important to want to attract good clientele. We're in a very good community, so we decided to go all in. We've got new flooring, we've got new appliances. We had a brand new, as you mentioned, Lindsey, new HVAC.
Nice.
This is how committed we were to this project. This side of the duplex did not have air condition, and we went ahead and put air condition in.
Take care of your renters.
We want to take care of them, absolutely. So no one wants to, in the summertime here in northeastern Ohio, it gets hot, it gets humid. You need air condition. I think about it as myself, would I want to live in this place? Certainly when we took this place over, absolutely not. But now I joke that I may pick a fight with my wife so I can move into one of these spots because I like it. It's really turning out so well.
So you had to buy the things, and again, these are back to the numbers of understanding where it is. So you buy the house, you put these things in there, and then we do a refinance. And when you do a refinance, you pay yourself back for the items, and that money is tax-free because it's refinancing and taking the money from there. It's not income per se.
That's right. Yeah, and we're in that process now, as you know. I mean, we wanted to partner with Conrad Mortgage. Things have been very easy as it relates to the process and what's needed and working with Lindsey's team. They've just done a fantastic job for a guy like me who is new to keep it very seamless, very professional, very fluent. And, I say on the number side of it and just the process has been absolutely phenomenal because of your team.
Yeah, we need to know them, and I want to make sure because he's got all this stress going on. I mean, this is like house coming down. This is a lot going on.
Yeah.
And so the last thing we need to do is make more problems. So that's why when you go through this, we have to be at the front, and that's why we're finding things out that we go through. But on the mortgage side, at least I can make that part as smooth and easy as possible.
Yeah, I have to say you have.
But in general, as an investor, that's why you have to talk to networking event or come to networking events and meet people that you find they're like-minded. Talk to your mortgage lender, especially if they're investor friendly, which we are, and then kind of take it from 0 to 100 because now you're going to have 2 under your belt. You're going to be set up for success for this. Again, 90% of millionaires are made in the real estate world. That means 10% for crypto, for businesses, for other stuff like that. So you're setting yourself up for success, for the future, and this is the way to do it.
And I look at it as like a legacy to my own family, right? I have 2 children. I mean, this is something that we can potentially pass down.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think, I'm looking kind of long term.
Absolutely.
And that was important to my wife and I, as it relates to getting involved in investments as well. So,
Absolutely.
Here we are.
And it's your community. It's where you live. It's the city you live in. It's Northeast Ohio. We have all these investors coming from out of town that want to do this. And if you're coming from out of town, that's great, but you got to know us. You got to come in. I mean, it's great. Imagine doing this from California, from Miami, from New York, where we get every Boston, we get all the folks that come in. You really have to have the people you trust, and that's why we're saying call us, because if you don't have these people, good luck.
Well, and it turns into a very small community, right? When you get into this world, it becomes very small. Again, as an investor, we wanted to make sure that we weren't slumlords or labeled like these shyster investors that just put properties up and put people in just to cash flow on it. Certainly we're in it for the cash.
The right reasons.
And the right reasons have to be what's kind of at the forefront.
Absolutely.
So, we think we're doing that. We feel good about the work we've done. We've taken it on the chin a little bit, but we've learned from our mistakes. We've met good people. It's all kind of working out in other ways. So we're grateful.
Well, when you stumble once, you get up and run. That's how we're doing it.
Let's
go see the other side.
Sure. Here we are now on the larger side. This larger side is 3-bedroom, 2-bath. And so we've reconfigured the entire floor plan. There was a chimney at one point over here. The steps kind of went up. It was kind of a different layout. You can see some of the craftsmanship in terms of how the contractors had done certain things.
You could see through the floor. When I came in here, there were open beams, literally open beams that were walking through this. And over here was where the Underground Railroad tunnel was.
Yes.
I mean, literally, you walk in and it was a huge tunnel that was cemented off, right? And
yes.
like right under here. I mean, it's crazy to see how gorgeous this looks.
The floors were slanted. So imagine, it had this slope that these guys had to rebuild, reinforce the floor. You would step certain places and feel like you were going to go through. The carpet is what I felt was like holding me, preventing me from going through. So
it's insane to see how gorgeous this is after you've completely redone it.
There was a door there that went to the other side, the side that we were just at, into that common area where the gentleman was doing the floor work. That was all put together, taken out. A window was placed in here. We now have created a friendly kitchen area with some wide open space. These guys they've done a fantastic job. We've had the place painted. The bedroom here, there was some different things that were done. This will be, could be an office for someone or could be a bedroom.
So when you came in, this was scary and it was bad. But now you see this. So now as your investor, being a first-time investor, we're showing people this is not theory again.
Yeah.
So now you come in and see how gorgeous this is. And there are floors in. We're not falling through. No carpets, all this stuff. This gorgeous floor. You have brand new everything.
Yeah.
This is nice. Are you seeing the vision coming through? What do you feel like now?
The vision is now here, right? The Picasso painting has happened.
There's light at the end of the tunnel is what he's trying to tell you. When we started, it was like, and then I get it though. And now look at this.
And now here we are. Yeah, we're very proud of the work that's been done. Again, it was way out of budget, but hopefully because of the work and investment that we've put into the property, we're hopeful that we can get, again, some good clientele in here. You know,
A good appraisal as well.
Yeah.
That's very important. So
Yes.
now, because you're in Strongsville, it's a strong market in Strongsville, and you're going to have a good appraisal. They're going to find comparable houses that sold like this one. It's 2 units. You got 3 over here and 2 baths and 3 bedrooms and 1 and 1 over there.
Yep.
So it's going to be a comparable. It's going to be a little bit difficult to find, but they're going to find houses that are like it and appraise it, and you should do pretty good. I mean, look at this.
Yeah.
I mean, you've done a great job inside of here. It's a great market. Boy, I am like shocked. First time in
Appreciate
here.
it. Yeah. So I'll show you guys here. We'll take a stroll over. You had a little counter area put in here.
This was all like open, like literally you would fall through, like this was beams. When I came through and there was like junk everywhere, and I'm like, literally after I came out of here, I just wanted someone to spray me with a hose. Like it was that bad. Look at this place now, it's gorgeous.
We've got
I live here.
brand new washer and dryer. We've got, you know, as I mentioned, Sean, he's got his luxury air mattress. He's been staying here to make sure the work was completed in a timely fashion. Closet, so here's the second room, and then you'll see the bathroom area here. You know, we've got tile put in, really nice bathroom area, nice and spacious. So yeah, I think it's ultimately
Gorgeous.
come together quite nicely. We're really proud of just the project. This was actually like I had to duck to kind of get in here. Guys did a fantastic job of opening this up. This will be a nice master room for someone with an attached bathroom here. Closet area, so we've got a nice bathroom attached to this room here. I think this really came out nicely.
It looks fantastic. So this is what a rehab is. This is what it is. So the Burr method, you buy, then you fix it up, and then you refinance and you repeat. That's the idea. And so you're doing that here. So this is fantastic.
Yep.
You've really transformed a space that, as a first-time investor, you're like, this is a nightmare.
Yes.
And I'm telling you, all the first-time investors that are watching this are all people that want to be first-time investors. It's terrifying.
Yeah, it is.
Because you come in there and you see this, you see all this trash everywhere, you see all this junk, and you're like, well, because if it was in good shape, everybody would do it.
That's right.
So it's a lot of hard work, but a lot of hard reward, and now it's a reward.
Yeah, it's been a fun project to kind of watch again without all the challenges and setting all that aside. Just seeing a project that was so beat up, and I mean, again, I felt like the place should be condemned, to now seeing what it's become.
It's gorgeous.
You know, and kudos, you know, shout out to the guys doing the work. I mean, I've done nothing other than supply the resources for them to do this. This is their craftsmanship. And we're really grateful for what they've been able to do.
And now you've learned so much. I mean, in fact, listen, $20,000 classes, all this other stuff these people are doing.
You don't need that.
None of it. Because think about it. You've learned more in the 6 months of doing this than you could have in anything. I mean, forget 8 years of college for this thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
And you went for 4. It's supposed to be a 4-year degree. So imagine. No, I'm just kidding. But the reality of it is you've learned so much. That's why you have to reach out to professionals that know this. Go to the networking events that we hold and other people hold. Call the mortgage company and talk to real estate friendly or investor friendly mortgage folks, which would be us, and then set yourself up for success like he's doing.
Yeah, absolutely right. Well said, Linz.